I say Mitai, she shares Meichai. Now, for more on the search for unicorns, I'm joined by Rui Ma. She is an entrepreneur, an advisor, and contributor to pandaily.com and an angel investor. Welcome to the program. There's an unprecedented wave of these Chinese unicorns coming out, isn't there? Where are they coming from?
Well, I think for China, the unicorns are growing because the market is so big. And specifically for China, there's a lot of companies actually that are on the unicorn list. I know that you had mentioned a third, but if you read some Chinese reports, they actually point to 200 Chinese unicorns. And a good amount of those are actually spin-offs or subsidiaries of much larger companies. For example, Alibaba has Ant Financial, Cainiao, which is its logistics arm. Those are both unicorns from the get-go. JD also has a logistic arm that's spun off. And, you know, they're unicorns or decacorns, a company's worth over $10 billion just being upon spin-off.
Oh my goodness,
So,
there's another name we need to learn as well. Now, unicorns by definition are statistical rarities, aren't there? What are the obstacles and the benefits of searching for a unicorn?
Yes, they are. So on average, if you look at historical data, probably less than 5% of companies will make it to a unicorn status, right? So for many companies, that I would estimate that's actually less. That's probably around 1% actually. But the appeal of investing in unicorn is that the risk once it gets to unicorn status is substantially lower. Looking at past data again, you know, you have at least half a chance of this company going forward to an exit or substantial IPO, right? So it could be also an M&A transaction. If we look at Flipkart, which was an Indian unicorn or a decacorn actually recently, it could have probably stayed private and then raised more money and gone into IPO, but it was bought by Walmart for $16 billion. And you're seeing that also as a you know, potential exit opportunity. So for unicorns, the appeal to investors is just the certainty of an exit and returns.
Oh, I remember that purchase by a unicorn by Walmart of the Indian company very, very well, because they wanted to expand the grocery business over there. So that was a unicorn, was it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a decacorn. It was bought for $16 billion,
wow.
So over $10 billion.
Now, despite that Indian example, the vast majority of unicorns are based in the US, as you know, but China is working to catch up. How does Silicon Valley differ from China when it comes to nurturing this trend?
I actually think it's interesting you asked that question. I live in Silicon Valley now. I lived in China for 8 years working in technology. And I wouldn't say Silicon Valley makes a concerted effort to, you know, nurture or grow unicorns. Of course, it's in the back of every entrepreneur's mind because it's somewhat of a rite of passage, right? If you are able to get to that statistical rarity, as we said, of $1 billion valuation. But actually, in the investor community, there is a lot of backlash against this unicorn, you know, terminology. And a lot of investors, if you go online, just look, famous investors, Bill Gurley, Mark Andreessen, they've all said since 2015 that they hate the word unicorn, that, you know, unicorns are, you know, raising too much money, therefore leading to too much burn, cash burn, you know, is spending too much money. And then they have at various times theorized that, you know, unicorns are going to vaporize. However, it's 3 years later and that really hasn't happened. If you look at the data, what we think might have happened, or many investors think might have happened, is that because there was this concern about, you know, unicorns and the valuations being too high, raising too much money, what that's actually done is that companies have actually taken that and said, oh my gosh, the money is going to be gone soon. So they've actually gone out and raised more money at a faster rate. So I think it's actually exacerbated the problem in some ways.
So come on then, you're in Silicon Valley. What are the next 2 or 3 unicorns to come out? Do you know? Can you tell us?
Well, actually, you know, CB Insights, which is a great research firm, publishes a list of, I think it's like maybe over 100 unicorns that are up and coming. So they have the global list of unicorns, which, as you said, about 259, so 73 from China. And then there's a list of up and coming unicorns. So you can always look at that list.
You want to name some or no?
No, I'll probably not name some, but well, actually, I could name one that I think is just an interesting example since we're talking about China. It's not a unicorn yet. It's I don't actually know what the exact valuation is. It raised a Series A earlier this year of $92 million. What I think is really interesting about this company is it's called Neuro, N-U-R-O. It's an AI company that's working on autonomous delivery vans.
Oh, wow.
And the interesting is that this team came out of Google. It raised pretty much like almost $100 million, pretty soon after it was founded. But its lead investors are a top Silicon Valley firm, Greylock, and a top Chinese VC firm, Banyan Capital or Gaorong Capital. Yeah. And I think for products like that, where it's sort of a greenfield industry globally, and U.S. and China being two technology leads and huge markets respectively, you're going to see more and more of these combinations of teams, right? Chinese and American entrepreneur and Chinese American funds.
AI, that's where the future is. Rui Ma, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you. Enjoyed that very much. Thank you.